One hope I have for the Taize gathering in Chicago is that a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life will be able to come together. That's one thing that I've noticed about being at Taize here in France so far, is that there are just so many different people and so many different stories, but everyone is able to come together and pray.
The Taize community in France and Taize worship services in the United States have drawn tens of thousands of young people hungering for a different kind of spiritual experience. Over Memorial Day weekend, youth from all over the world will gather in Chicago for a Taize pilgrimage of trust on earth. To learn more, we welcome Brother Emile, one of the Taize brothers helping coordinate this event. We also welcome Elizabeth Nickerson, a candidate for ministry in the Presbyterian Church and a worship leader for the Taize service at Fourth Presbyterian Church in Chicago. And we welcome Will Gross, a Roman Catholic and also a DePaul University student. Thank you all for joining us and talking about this wonderful event. And Brother Emile, if we can start with you, tell us a little bit about the Taize experience and the background behind it.
Well, Taize is such a small village that even if you have a very good map of France, you probably won't find it. It's 4 hours south of Paris. It's where Brother Roger, the founder of the community, settled in 1940. He believed in community life. He believed that people had enough words. He said they won't believe words anymore. They need to see a visible sign that the gospel is something that is embodied, that it's expressed through life. And so that's what drew him to start the community of brothers. He expected that it would just be a small community. People would give their life because of Christ and the gospel and perhaps see no fruit in their own lifetime. The surprise was that at the end of the 50s, the early 60s, hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands of young adults started coming, and the community said, we have to welcome them. And so Taize is now two things. It's a community of brothers, about 100 brothers from different Christian traditions, and it's a place where young people meet from all over the world to pray and to search how to respond to God's call in their life.
And Will, you were one of those young adults that went on one of these pilgrimages last summer. Can you tell us about that experience?
It was really an incredible experience because it just came out of nowhere. I go to DePaul, and we have a group that prays every week in the style of Taize, and we brought up the idea of going to the Taize community. And we had a group of about, I think, 15 or 19 students who all went, and it was just one of the most moving experiences you can imagine. It's a very simple community, a very prayerful and meditative type of community that really allows you time to not only answer questions that you come in with, but come up with new questions and not necessarily find answers, but start searching for them. I mean, it's just a beautiful community to be a part of.
And Liz, you actually lead a Taize service. Can you tell us about that and what does it give the people that come to the service?
I think one of the things that really marks the Taize service is that it's a very visceral experience. You know, we have so much media today, and especially in the Protestant church, we're always a people that like to connect with our faith intellectually. And so the sermon traditionally has been a very important part of that. But we get so much information today that oftentimes that piece of just speaking directly to our hearts is missing. And so that's what Taize provides. You know, it's a service that doesn't have a sermon. It's a service where we sing throughout the service, and those songs become spoken prayers. And then we also have 10 minutes of silence. And for many people, they don't have 10 minutes of silence in their month. I mean, there's not a time when they sit in a focused way to just open themselves up to the presence of God. And so I think that today we need that. We are so bombarded all the time with messages, and you know, people have you know, cell phones, people are texting, you know, young adults are doing this all night. Some of them sleep with their devices. So there's never a time when they are not connected. But here we're talking about connecting to God, and I think that we need to find space and silence to do that. And so the Taize service is a different type of service to connect in that way.
And as Liz mentioned, Brother Emile, music is a very large component, probably the most powerful component of the service. Can you tell us about that and maybe give us a little example?
Well, I think lots of people in the U.S. know of Taize for the music. They don't know the young adult part, that people come in thousands. We get about 100,000 young people every year who come to Taize to spend a full week. But the music is maybe spread and it's maybe more well known than the community itself. It's short songs that we created with the help of composers. Now the brothers are composing the songs. But the intention was that everyone be able to participate in just a short amount of time. They've been at Taize only a few hours, a few minutes perhaps. And we'd like that no one be a spectator to the prayer. So we have these short songs. I'm sure some of your viewers know, for example, Jesus, Remember Me. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Those songs, very short, that people can learn, and they are participants. Immediately they are participants to the prayer. There is a meditative quality. The melodies are not difficult, but there's a quality to the music, and I think I would say almost an honesty. Right? An honesty with our human condition. Brother Roger, our founder, was very attached to that. We are often groping and looking. We don't see. We don't have a vision of where we're going. We don't see, but we walk in faith. We journey in trust. And so the music has to be honest with our human condition. And that's why many of the melodies are in a minor key. They're not triumphant. They're very humble, and they speak to the heart.
They're repetitive. They're chants.
Repetitive, and so they can be repetitive, and they can be enriched sometimes by cantor parts. Some of the songs have a richer text because a cantor is singing above the refrain. Some of them are in the form of rounds or canons. Some of them are what you would call an ostinato, something you just repeat over and over again. And I think the aim is, yes, to get us focused on the mystery that we are singing. And we cannot claim that is easy. You know, today when Liz was talking about how busy we are, it's true. You want to pray sometimes, but your mind is a little bit everywhere. And the repetitive chant helps to slowly enter into the mystery that you are singing.
So people in Chicago will get a chance, an opportunity to experience the pilgrimage. Can you talk about that and what's being planned here in Chicago the Memorial Day weekend?
Yes, so we got this wonderful invitation from DePaul University, and we contacted many churches, different denominations, to ask them if they would like to participate, and the answer was yes. And so we, over Memorial Day weekend, from the 25th to the 28th of May, hundreds, possibly thousands of young adults will come from all over the US and Canada, a few from further away. And we're going to pray in the style of Taize. We're going to transform the athletic center at DePaul University into a place of prayer. There will be Bible reflection, and there'll be workshops, because the message of Taize was not prayer only. It's never been prayer only. During the war, when Brother Roger came in France to the village of Taize, he welcomed Jewish refugees. There was always this dimension of human solidarity. And for Brother Roger, faith doesn't make you run away from reality, but it makes you run towards the challenges with the vitality, the hope that comes from faith. And so we want that to be part of our weekend as well.
And Will, can you tell us a little bit, what do you think it means, the pilgrimage of trust? What do they mean when they're talking about trust?
Well, I feel that Chicago and North America could really gain some, especially some trust from this gathering. That there's a lot of, like Liz was talking about before, everybody's so engrossed in their social media, in their Facebook and texting. There's never any face-to-face communication. There's never anything like that. And that you really don't even have any real interaction with people anymore. And I feel like bringing, possibly thousands of people from around North America and farther away, we might be able to grow in a community together that can trust each other and learn more about each other and really become a global community that's all based on this one mission.
So do you feel it's trust in others, trust in yourself, trust in God? Is it, or all of the above?
Yes, I think it's all, because you're gonna have to trust in yourself, because there's gonna be, like Liz said, there's gonna be silence. You're gonna have to deal with yourself. You're gonna have to, hear your own voice and your own questions. You're gonna have to hear, God's voice, where He's directing you, where He's, leading you now. You're gonna have to deal with other people and how they're interacting with you. And there's gonna be small groups and sessions and all types of that type of stuff that will bring people together in community.
It seems to appeal to all different Christian traditions, walks of life. Why do you think that is?
I think because it's ultimately about God, and God is our God of all of us. I think that the ecumenical nature is really wonderful, and Brother Roger and I were saying that the whole church needs the gifts of all of the church. So when we look at our different traditions of Roman Catholic and Protestant and Orthodox, kind of original Christian traditions broke off a little bit, and different segments took on different pieces. But we need all the gifts to come together. And so I think all people, that really appeals to them. No one wants to be a church divided. So we say there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, Father of us all. And I think all Christians believe that. And it's a sense of sadness, I think, on everyone's part that our church has kind of been divided. So something like Taize, too, with this power to break beyond those boundaries and bring Christians together to see our unity in Christ is very powerful.
Thank you so much, Brother Emil, for joining us, and Liz, and Will, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I'm Anne Marie Gerhardt for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.